What is up, everyone? Welcome to the UnderDog Sports Podcast. I am your host, Nolan Scan, alongside just Antonio Fiore today. How you doing,
Just
Antonio?
me. Not bad.
Sal got caught up saving some infants from a house fire, so he couldn't be here today.
Yeah, he's a hero. You'll see him on the news later.
Yeah, so, whatever. I still don't think that's an excuse to miss the pod, but it's whatever. I guess he's a hero and all that good stuff. He's actually right now working with the military to take down the drones. So hopefully he can get that done also.
Yeah, well,
Do you think he
like nice
can?
medal, dude.
Yeah, nice. He's
Oh,
gonna get like a Medal of Honor. He's gonna get the key to the city.
yeah, and then he's
Whatever.
gonna take on China.
Yeah, whatever. But we're still here. We're giving the people what they want, and that's the Underdog Sports Podcast. So how you doing today, Antonio?
I'm pretty good. Actually, very good. Yankees made a nice move last night.
They
To
acquired Cody Bellinger.
yeah, to quickly go over that. I think it's
Yeah.
a good move. A lot of Yankee fans are actually very happy with how the offseason's gone so far.
Do you think these are good substitutions for keeping Juan Soto?
I mean, there's no replacing Juan Soto, but I mean, there's definitely other ways that you can make a team very good. Like if you look at the Mets lineup, like batting lineup as it would be today, and put it up against the Yankees batting lineup as it would be today, I think the Yankees definitely have a better hitting lineup. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
Juan Soto's very good, but I mean, there's other things you could do. You can take that 760 something million that you were going to offer the guy and put that elsewhere. I mean, the pitching rotation looks freaking awesome with Max Fried. The only pitching rotation that's better is the Dodgers. And to me, it's the Yankees Dodgers that have the best pitching rotations. And then after that, there's a pretty huge gap between them and the next team, which is probably Philadelphia. So I think it's a good move. And they're still active. They're talking to Alex Bregman, which if they got him, the Yankees are fucking nasty. Like that is a great lineup if they have Alex Bregman.
I do like how they're kind of taking more of like the Dodgers approach, where they're sort of like rounding out their lineup instead of trying to get the one big guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like in
Definitely.
years past, where whether it be uh you know
I think the fact that they just came off a World Series appearance too is given Cashman and the Yankees like an extra bit of like oomph for this offseason because like the last I feel like every offseason it's like the Yankees are constantly signing like the next best guy available. They're never getting the guy. They're never getting the big guy in the trade market. They're always in the talks and they never really get him. Besides Soto last year, but they got Bellinger, they got Fried. I get the Mets are supposedly in on Bregman too. It depends how far they want to go. Depends how far the Yankees want to go.
yeah, and it seems like the Yankees are taking more of the Dodgers approach, and the Mets are taking more of the Yankees approach, just throwing money around and seeing what sticks. Whereas the Dodgers, yeah, they throw money around, but they do try to piece together an unstoppable lineup, and I think that that's something that the Yankees have not had. And I think
No,
this past year they've had it more than any other year, which is you see the results, they made it to the
but
World Series.
they did, but they still had that like 2 months where they fucking sucked and couldn't hit.
Yep. And I
So
feel
I
like
mean,
this time around they kind of like are getting rid of the dead weight. Like they're getting rid of Rizzo, they got rid of Nestor
yeah,
Cortez. Like they're getting rid of and then like upgrading it. You know what I mean? Like upgrading their positions, which I think is different from how they've approached it before. So they're definitely going to be a favorite to get in the World Series again for sure.
especially the American League is still fairly weak compared to the National League. No, it is. It is weak compared to the National League.
And maybe we'll actually get a Subway Series World Series this time around.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised if it just ends up being Yankees Dodgers again and everybody's going to be
True.
pissed.
True.
We haven't really had that in baseball in a long time, and it used to happen all the time up until about 2000, where you would get like you'd see the same teams for years. I mean, like late 90s, it was the Braves and the Yankees in
More
the World
recently, it
Series
was like
nonstop.
the Astros, though. I mean,
That's true.
The Astros either were in the ALCS or the World Series what,
They were
like
there, but it's
4 out of 5 years or something like that.
right, but it's not like they played the Dodgers like 2 or 3 times.
True.
They only played the Dodgers once. So
Yeah. So I think we'll definitely the Dodgers are always going to be in the mix. Just
but
like
yeah,
how, and
cool stuff.
now that the Yankees have built like a good core, and hopefully it still goes the same way, like they're gonna be in it. You know what I mean? The Red Sox, I think the Red Sox are gonna be pretty decent. They're gonna be fighting for it, but I mean, I don't think that they're comparable to the Yankees, and I don't think the
No,
Orioles are
I still think
comparable.
I still think they're a playoff team.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it'd have to take like some Cinderella type run with like an upset to have one of those teams get to the World Series. I feel like.
yeah, the Orioles, they're gonna have a very good lineup, but it just depends on like, are they gonna be able to keep Santander, who hit 44 home runs last year? Supposedly
Yeah,
the
I mean
Yankees are talking to him too,
they don't
and
have his
Corbin
deep
Burns.
pockets for
No,
sure.
and they got Corbin Burns. I'm sure they'd like to keep him. I think they're gonna try and keep him, but he very well could get big money and end up with the Mets or the Yankees or something.
Has there ever been talks about like having like some sort of like salary cap in the MLB?
Um, I don't know how seriously it's been talked about. I mean, for years, fans have been talking about it. Every time stuff like this happens, the idea gets floated around. I haven't, I haven't heard it in quite a while over the last few years, up until the Dodgers got Otani last year.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely
I-
was seeing it after the Juan Soto thing. Like people were
yeah,
just like,
a hundred
Jesus,
percent.
like 760 million, whatever the fuck it was. Like it's just so much money.
I remember people talking like that, around when I was a teenager too, like in high school about just like there should be a salary cap, and then that talk kind of died down because you saw teams like the Diamondbacks get to the World Series. You saw like the 80 something win Phillies get to the World Series. We've seen a bunch of mid-market teams make it within the last like 7 to 8 years.
Is it
So
because
it just depends. It depends on where we're at.
what's the rational argument against it?
Um, there never has been, so we're not gonna do it.
I feel
That
like
that's pretty much it.
it's one of those things too, because like imagine like having to reform the league to a salary cap. Like a lot of these
Yeah.
guys would probably take a big chunk of pay away from them. Like you'd have to see like I don't know, the
Yeah,
Mets would
dude,
have to
I don't.
restructure Juan Soto's contract for like
You'd have to
20
restructure
years.
the fucking team.
It'd be a Bonilla
That's
deal
yeah.
all over again. But I mean, at some point it's gonna have to change.
Yeah, I wonder how they'd work that in. I really do. I don't know how you work that out with current contracts, or if like it's the kind of thing where you're supposed to just let current contracts play out.
See, and I don't think you could do that because they're just going to keep. It's a revolving door.
Right.
They're just going to keep going on and
It's
going
not
on.
like the NBA has a salary cap, but now their players are starting to get like baseball money.
Yeah, I mean, but at least there's a little
They're the
bit of a
closest
level
to it.
playing field, though. And in
Oh,
baseball, like you could
definitely.
play a lot longer too. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I feel like there needs to be something. Like, I don't want to see
I
just the
wouldn't be
big
opposed
market
to it.
teams in the World Series every single year. Like, and like yeah, you get like some of these years where like you get like the Rockies in the World Series, or you get the Phillies, or you get the Diamondbacks, but like it's so it's so rare that it's like, and most of the time when those teams do make it to the World Series, they don't win. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
well,
like
no, Kansas City made it back-to-back years, 14, 15, and they won in 15.
yeah, it's definitely
Uh,
possible, but it's so hard because then
Within a 10-year,
after that year
yeah,
they just get gutted. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is.
within a 10-year time frame, like there's probably 2 or 3 World Series won by non-bigger market teams. Because
None by like small market teams. Like you'll never see the A's in the World Series. Like you'll
no,
never see
but
the
like Kansas City's considered a small market team
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I Arizona mid market, they're definitely not a small market. Phoenix is Phoenix, but
It's kind of like
um,
when you see like it's kind of like now when you see a small team in like the college football playoff like make it. It's like one of those deals where you just get lucky one year and you just have a really good team, a really solid like team roster that doesn't really have like superstar power, but they just play well and they have like a good pitching rotation and all that good stuff. But then like there's always one guy that sticks out, and then when they make that run, they just get gutted the next year, and they go to like the
Mhm.
Yankees, Dodgers, or Red Sox or whoever it may be. Like I feel like that just needs to change. Like the teams that are competing should be able to have the option at least to keep their guys. Like
But
have the
there's also teams that do have a ability to reach out and spend on players that just have cheap owners.
definitely. Yeah, there
Like,
definitely is that too.
and the Rays are not one of those teams. The Rays are a low revenue team that has to like figure it out. But
And
like
they're always
Oakland,
decently competitive too.
like like Oakland, their owner could do more to provide the team with more resources to sign guys. Same thing with Colorado. Denver's not a small city,
No.
not a small market. It's probably more owner
I
related and
feel like
why
it's a
they're not
small I feel like it's a small baseball market.
probably, and pitchers don't like to sign there. But it's like Miami, dude. Miami's always had cheap fucking owners. Both time they won the World Series in '96. That the franchise was created, I think, in '92. Miami or Florida Marlins won the World Series in 1997. After that, blew it all up, traded away everybody, and they sucked for years up until like 2003. They go to the World Series, they beat the Yankees, and what do? Trade everybody away. Josh Beckett's gone to the Yankees. Miguel Cabrera's gone to the Tigers. So a lot of these owners also just have no interest in paying these players long term.
Yeah, it is tough because it's like they don't see it. Yeah, you're right. They're just cheap and they don't see the benefit of it, and like
That
they don't
yeah,
really like care, and then they don't really know the best thing is like they want the short term money, like you know what I mean, like they don't see the long term investment of having a decent roster for years, but they just want to cash in on that one
like
year.
I don't know what happened with the Astros, but all of a sudden, like once they made the switch over to the American League, their payroll's been consistently top four in baseball since 2017 when they won their first championship in this whole thing. They were top three last year in payroll. They're probably going to be top five heading into this year. And even the Mets, before Steve Cohen, I forget what the hell their names were, but they weren't poor owners like on the scale of baseball owners. They had plenty of money. They couldn't spend money like the Yankees and Dodgers, but they could spend money like the Red Sox could. They had total capability of throwing a big contract at a player. They were just fucking cheap. They didn't want to give any money to the team.
Yeah, and I mean John Henry gets the same sort of rep now, especially after the whole Mookie Betts thing. I think he was off the hook for the Juan Soto thing just because the number ended up being so astronomical that like even, nobody was mad from either the Yankees or the. I mean, there are some people that were mad, but like the Yankees and the Red Sox, I think the consensus was that they kind of like missed out on, or they didn't really miss out on it because the price tag was just way too high. Um, so they kind of dodged a bullet there. But if he ended up going for like just 700 or like 675 or something like that, like John Henry would have gotten grilled in the Boston media again because he was unwilling to pay a superstar player. And you can't, once you have that rap, like they never really change. Like it's so weird because you would think like from the pressure from the media, they would like change and like try to make it better if they really cared, but that just proves that they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Red Sox went pretty. I think they were there for quite
Yeah.
a while. I mean, they didn't go quite as far as the Yankees. The Yankees and Mets went far over 700 mil. I don't think the Red Sox went over 700 mil. They were probably in the conversation until it got to about six, which if I'm a Red Sox fan and word came out that the Red Sox final offer to Soto before they dropped out was 600 mil, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. That's a fuck ton of
Well,
money.
I thought it was
Not everybody's the Yankees and the Mets, even if you're a big market team like the Red Sox.
well, I saw some again, it's probably I don't know if it's true or not. It was on Twitter, but the final number that they offered him was somewhere in like the 700 705 range or something like that.
They
And
tried. Yeah,
the offer in the long run would have been worth more because of the taxes in Massachusetts versus New York.
true.
So I mean, obviously, when you see something like that, you say, okay, well, at least they gave what they could give. In the end, it would have been worth more, but Juan Soto didn't want it, so I
And
don't
he
know.
probably knew that. He probably just didn't want to be a Red Sox. If he
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to be a Yankee,
I
he would have
definitely
been a
think he
Yankee.
has people around him that were probably like, hey, this is the taxes, this is how much you would net for this whole life of the contract. And you're right, he probably just didn't want to be on the Red Sox. He thought his best opportunity would have been with the Mets, and I don't know. We'll see how it works out for him, but I think his best opportunity to win would have probably been to stay on the Yankees.
Yes, but I mean,
But when you're
Mets are
getting seven hundred
the
and
Mets
sixty
should still be, yeah,
million,
and they should still be very good next year.
yeah, the Mets will definitely be in the mix. It's just funny though, because it's like I don't know what I would be thinking if someone offered me $760 million. Like the fact that someone comes to you, slides a paper across the desk with that number on it is just insane. Like, like, could you just imagine? Just by being good at baseball for like a few years, someone slides that contract over. You win one World Series, you're one of the best players in baseball, and someone just hands you that paper, and you look at it and you're like, what is even happening right now?
Yeah, instead I paid $300 to play baseball for a season. So
Right. Instead,
I pay to play.
instead we work for like crumbs and we barely are able to get by and we have to pay to play the things that we like.
Yeah, technically I have to pay to watch it too.
How do you think this NIL stuff unfolds? What are your thoughts on that? In
What are you
terms of like
talking?
since we're talking about salary caps and all that stuff, like does this NIL shit bother you at all in like college?
What is that?
Like the NIL deals in
What, like
college?
players getting paid?
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's kind of playing out as if the MLB.
I don't know enough about it. I don't really care.
I think I think
I mean,
it needs to be controlled. I think like
I mean, I get it. Big schools.
the same thing about there being a salary cap. All that's going to happen these next like 5 years is the rich teams are going to be the best. You'll never
It's
hear
true.
from a smaller team because it's not even about playing anymore. It's about who pays the most money, who gives you the best NIL deals.
Yeah, it's true. That makes it shady.
One kid will go to, I don't know, Kent State, one of these teams, ball out, have like an Ashton Genty type year, and then immediately in the transfer portal and is on the, Alabama the next year and they're getting, $20 million. It's like,
Yeah, see, what makes it cool and different is that it's not a professional sport and doesn't operate like a professional sports league. So you take that uniqueness away from it, then kind of
it
takes the
seems
fun out
like
of the
right
whole
now
thing.
it's just like the wild wild west. Like there's really no like rules. Like it's just everybody just throwing money. And I think like it needs to. So the beauty of it before the NIL stuff was it was all under the table and no one knew about it. Like this is like shit that people just turned a blind eye to. Like yes, Alabama and all these big schools were paying players, but they couldn't pay them the absorbent amount of money that they're getting now because they had to kind of keep it quiet. But now that it's just all out in the open, they can give them whatever amount it'll take for them to sign to their school, and they have unlimited budget. So it's like at some point, like the beauty of it being illegal in a sense was that it was controlled and like it wasn't really out there. But now that it's out there and legal, like I don't know,
There's no limit.
it's almost worse. Yeah, it's literally it's the MLB. It's the Yankees and Dodgers buying up all these players and
Well, I mean, maybe what they initiated this in the last like 2 years or something like that. Then it's in its beginning stages. Rules and regulations will pop up. I think most likely
I would
as
hope.
time goes on and they see how things progress, there's probably going to be some sort of change that
Well, some
happens
of
to
these
it, and
smaller
probably
schools,
multiple things that change within the first 5, 10 years of this.
some of these like mid-Atlantic schools that say you get a really good coaching staff, a really good scouting, you scout the best players, you have a really good year, you get some quarterback that comes in, he just balls out. And then, you have a good defense. Then some big team comes in, swoops up all your players, and then you're left with nothing. I think like it's just so unfair. Like and I get why the players do it. Like everyone tries to blame them. It's like you can't blame them. You can't hate the player. You got to hate the game. It's like it's not their fault that all these teams get to do this now. It's like dude, you got to look at it from the player's perspective. If I go in and I ball out and I'm at some like regional school that nobody really knows about, and then Nick Saban comes in or Kirby Smart comes in
And
and
he's
goes,
like, "Hey, you
"Hey,
want
I
eight
will give you
million
$20 million
dollars?"
to come play at my school."
Yeah, your
Who the
college kid. What
fuck
are you gonna
is
say
who the
no?
fuck is saying no? Who the fuck is saying no? This is before I'm even able to go to the NFL, and then now I get to go showcase my talent in front of everyone and make $20 million in the meantime. Like that's you can't blame the players for that. And I think like some of the blame can be like, oh, for years they've been like, let us make money on our name, and I think like that was the innocent excuse for it. But now it's like, okay, do you really need $20 million as a sophomore in college? I don't think so. I think like they should be able to get paid, but like I don't. This is just like crazy. This is
I
just
think the
crazy
whole.
what they're getting.
I think a part of the thing with that too is that the amount of money that the schools make off of um just the amount of money that the NCAA and the programs take in from a season is just a ridiculous amount of money. I think it also just turns a lot of people off that the players don't see any of that money.
Yeah, and it does. It
And that just
does.
collects
It
and
does.
makes the university and the organization even richer and richer and richer, which you would think translate to cheaper tuition, but no.
Yeah, and the whole conversation is fucked because it does bring in way too much money, but that money's got to go somewhere. Like from all these TV deals and all this other stuff, and then you see these like schools that are opening like $200 million facilities, and then
Regular,
the
honestly,
coach is making 15 million a year.
regular students should get pissed and be like, "Oh, so like I'm paying 20K a semester to come here, but this kid that's my age is making like $5 million this year to play football here,
Yeah, I think
like
it
directly from the university."
the way that it was presented and the way that it's been implemented are two very different things. It was kids crying about, their name is getting plastered everywhere and not getting recognized or paid for it. And what got implemented was this sort of, Wild West, just people like gold rush type thing with no rules. And like, yeah, it definitely would piss me off if I went to like Georgia and I was paying $40,000 a semester and I was in a class with the quarterback that's making, I'm in a freaking class with Carson Beck and he's making, $25 million just to play football. Man, like it doesn't make sense. It makes way too much money. But yeah, I say we move on to the NFL.
Yeah, that's happening too.
um, what
How
about
good is it when we,
what?
go ahead.
No, you go.
How good is it when we start getting Saturday games?
Yeah, no, Saturday games are good because
They
they're
feel
never
so
at the same
cozy.
fucking time.
Yeah, it also means I don't have to turn on college football on the weekend. Not that I do
Although
anyway.
but also the times when we get the Saturday games is when college football is at its best. Like we're starting to get the playoff games
Oh,
now.
that's true. Oh yeah, now they're going
So
through like it is multiple rounds now.
I would rather. I think that's well. The thing is too the TV schedule makes it better because they don't step on college football's toes. Like the Saturday games this week are 1 o'clock and 4:30, and I think that there's a college playoff game this weekend if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. So we have the game at night is Tennessee, Ohio State, and then SMU, Penn State, Clemson, and Texas. So the two like not competitive games are like while the NFL is going on, and then the big game is at night when there is no NFL. So I feel like they kind of balance it out pretty good. But you're right though. I would rather watch NFL for sure. Um, there were some good games last week. Some not so great games, but some good games also.
Yeah, what a shame I had to illegally stream the Buffalo Bills and Detroit Lions game
It wasn't on
because
national TV.
it was not in our area because I guess the Cardinals and Pats have to be on. So that was great. That
Oh
was a very
yeah,
entertaining game. Dan Campbell's a meth head.
dude.
He
I going for that onside kick with like 12 minutes
That's
left.
wild, dude.
Why are you doing
That's
that?
one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
What's crazy is that I can kind of understand it because like you're like if we're not gonna stop them,
Yeah,
I'd
oh
I'd
yeah, I
rather
get
just
it.
get the ball back quicker. But I think the fact that Matt Collins returned it so far was what sucked. Like if they were able to stop him on their side of the 50, and then they could probably at least attempt to get a stop without giving up any points. But Matt Collins returns it, and then you look stupid. So like that was where it kind of looked like a crackhead move. But we said this about him. He's gonna keep doing this shit.
It's true. No, it's a great point. Like they easily could have just marched down and scored like they did on every other drive. And
Yeah, he's like if they're gonna march down the
what's
field,
the difference?
they're gonna eat up like 6 minutes of the clock. I'd rather do an onside kick now and either get the ball back or they score quickly and we get the ball back and we can keep doing this tit for tat thing.
And it ended up being close. So
Yeah, I
good
think
game.
it.
Very, very entertaining game.
I think if they don't get that onside kick, the game doesn't even get that close.
Probably not. Yeah, because they wouldn't have had the time to.
As crackhead of a move it was, it did make sense. I don't, and luckily it was one of those things that didn't lose them the game. but he
No.
does have those tendencies. Like he would do that if the game was on the line. Like if
No,
they're
I
down
think
like 3 points, he would have done that.
yeah. Jared
Um,
Goff. Jared Goff with five. Well, it's such an interesting stat that Goff throws five picks in a game earlier this year, and they win that game. He throws for 5 touchdowns, 500 yards, and they lose that game.
yeah, I think he's. What would the tweet say? It's like he was the first to do that.
Oh, probably.
That's actually kind of nuts, dude.
I'm surprised he's not the first quarterback to throw 5 picks and win. There's probably like
Yeah,
that's probably happened like 10 times in the
I don't
history of
remember
football.
exactly. I thought maybe he was one of the only ones, but
Probably. I would be I'd be surprised if that happened on more than 10 occasions. Ten's even pushing it.
and
That's a
now that
lot of
and
turnovers.
all the players that they lost to injury, like they lose David Montgomery, they lose some pieces on the
That's rough,
defense.
dude.
I mean, is their stock getting lower? Do you think? Like, are
It
they
is, but they're
losing? Are
still
they
great.
losing gas? They could
I
slip
don't
up and lose the division because of that.
I don't know if I want to say they're losing gas. They still scored 42 points. Team's still very good. They can still
But
hang
I
with any
we'll
team in the
have
league.
to. I think we'll
It's
have to
just
see
not going
like
to be
this
as
week. I mean, they are playing Chicago, so I mean, they are playing a shitty team, luckily. But
I still think they'll finish out the division. But I also don't feel as down on the Vikings as I did about 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, I was like, all right, this team's done. Like, I'm sick of this team. They're winning games, but they're not really impressing me. They're starting to look kind of dangerous again. I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl or anything like that, but could they knock off a Philly or a Detroit in one of the earlier rounds of the playoffs? Sure, they definitely could. They could definitely make the NFC Championship. I would just be very surprised to see them in the Super Bowl.
I'm really still not impressed by them. I really am not like for what you said. Like how you said, like, oh, I wasn't really impressed, and now I am. I am still not impressed. I really don't think that they're on the level of the Lions or the Eagles at this
Well,
point.
not that I want to say that I'm wicked impressed, but like the Lions are banged up. They're divisional. Like if they played a playoff game against each other, I mean, you could at the end of the day, you can go back and say, well, it's still the Lions too. Like they can find a way to fuck that up.
True.
The Vikings and Lions both are historically, not great when it comes to these moments. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, but
That
then like the Eagles are still there and they'll take the number one seed.
I think the Vikings are a little. I think they're a little overhated, but I'm not saying overall that I'm like super impressed and that I think that there's some great team. I just think they they're capable to make a little run.
I mean, the last
They
time they
definitely have the
played a team
talent.
that was good was Week 8 against the Rams, and they lost.
Depends on Sam Darnold.
They
Yeah, good
they've
point.
beaten the Bears, Falcons, Cardinals, Bears, Titans, Jaguars, Colts. Those are the last, what is that, 7 games that they've played.
Yeah, I mean those are teams that that I pick against every week.
And it's not like they're winning in like dominating fashion. They beat the Colts by 8. They beat the Jaguars by 5, 12-7. They beat the Titans by
No, I don't.
10. They
Maybe what it
The
maybe what
Bears
it
almost came
is
back. The Bears almost beat them in overtime. The Cardinals the Cardinals fucked that game up and lost by 1. The Falcons they beat in convincing fashion. And then the Bears, I guess they won in convincing fashion. So the last 2 weeks they've won in convincing fashion, but against bad teams. And their last
yeah,
3
I mean
games of the year are not favorable to them. They play the Seahawks, Green Bay, and then the Lions. So I think if they do beat the Seahawks and the Packers and the Lions continue to win, that last game of the year is going to be very important.
yeah, the Green Bay game's a toss up.
Because even if Minnesota loses one and the Lions are still like ahead of them by a game, like that game is still going to be important
Hmm.
because the Lions would still have to beat them to sweep them for the season. Um. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the NFC shakes out. But other than that, I don't really know, what kind of games we want to highlight. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is like faking an injury again. I'm sure he'll come out and be fine this week.
Yeah, I mean,
He loves that.
wasn't it like a couple of years ago, like, oh, that's supposed to be like a really bad ankle injury, but then he just played through it anyway.
Yeah, and then
I swear, if they said he broke his leg, I swear they'd find a way to fucking put him out there. It's ridiculous.
yeah, I think he's the king of like faking injuries and then like being completely fine the
Well,
next
yeah,
week. Like,
because he loves walking. Like he always walks like he's hurt.
yeah, I mean it's hard to get hit like that and be that mobile and not be banged up by the end of the
I mean,
year.
dude, he takes fucking hits. Like
Yeah,
at some point, he's just not gonna get away with it. And I,
he
even
keeps
so,
saying that, but
I
he
know
does. He
he's.
just does.
I mean, yeah, maybe he's Eli Manning, dude, because Eli Manning wasn't particularly great at avoiding big hits, and the dude never got fucking hurt. He just took it. So, but like Mahomes, he
That's
doesn't. But the last couple years, he doesn't look nearly as athletic as he did in his first like probably 3 or 4
I think this
years.
has
Like the
probably
way he was
been
running
his
around the field.
this has been his worst year for sure. But I
Oh,
mean,
he looks tubby, but even like last year, like he definitely had a very good year last year, but he wasn't running all over the field like he was.
yeah, and I think too what the problem is they lose Rasheed Rice, they lose Pacheco, and then Travis
Right, those
Kelsey
are
hasn't looked good. Travis Kelsey looks elderly, like he
yeah.
looks old, man. And it's to be expected. He's getting to that age where it just starts catching up with you, especially at the tight end position.
He's a fat piece of shit, dude.
The
That's what
only thing
happens to
that
tight ends.
the only thing that's worked out for him that didn't really work out for Gronk is that he was healthy. Gronk was never healthy. So I think that's kind of where it's worked out for him, but now he looks elderly. Like he hasn't helped at all this year. And Noah Gray has always been pretty decent there. They get DeAndre Hopkins, he's looked pretty good. Um they incorporated Xavier Worthy a little bit more this past week, so that looked good, but I don't know, they just keep winning, so it's hard to criticize them because it's like they look so bad at so many times, but they just have won so many games, and all these games within 1 point or one score. So like you can't really criticize them. They've just been winning.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
Um,
This, I mean, shortly. There's been a lot of Caleb Williams talk going on since that game on Monday night.
It's starting to come down on him.
Yeah, and there's a tweet that went viral saying that he has one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the league, and people are obviously saying that's one of the dumbest takes ever.
Definitely. I
And
mean, that was
people
the
are like,
argument for him
people,
coming into the year.
and the tweet was like, people value the names too much, like obviously referring to Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and it's like, okay, it's not like these guys are like, I mean, Keenan Allen's old, but it's not like they haven't had good seasons within the last 2 years.
Yeah,
It's not like all of a sudden they suck
I
because
think
they're old.
I think it's just one of those things where coming into the year, that was like when Sal was saying they were going to make the playoffs. That was his main argument, and I think that was the sentiment across the whole league was that he's coming into a very
With yes,
good,
very
a very good
experienced.
offense, a very experienced offense. You got Keenan Allen, veteran wide receiver, DJ Moore, coming off like one of his career years last year, and then you have DeAndre Swift, who has been very solid. I think still has been kind of sneakily solid that people really just don't talk about. Um, you got Cole Kmet, who's been a pretty decent tight end, and then a good defense. So like he was coming into one of the better
Yeah, I
situations, and
mean,
that was the argument for him.
obviously, obviously there's a coaching issue,
There was a big
but you
coaching issue.
can't.
Matt
I'm not
Eberflus is an
not
idiot.
going to downplay that.
Yeah, Matt Eberflus is definitely an idiot. I think we could decipher that. Listen, Caleb Williams hasn't been the best, but the team hasn't been the best,
Right.
and we knew that.
I was never. I always hated that the take that he was going to come in and immediately be great. There was a lot of that going on.
Yeah, and then there was like the one clip of him like looking frustrated on the sideline, and was like, "Ooh, that's not a good look." It's like, let's not make him into Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, dude, I
Just
know.
give him a break. Like, you'd be fucking frustrated too. Like, you see some of these plays and they can't move the ball, and then he's probably like, "What the hell?" He's like, "I'm doing my best out there." Like, you know what I mean?
And it's
Like,
just like a cumulative with obviously there's a lot of drama probably going on with the team with the whole head coaching situation, the offensive play caller situation. It's just it's the end of the year and it's very frustrating year for the team. I'm not like I'm not looking at him being like, oh, his body language makes him look like a fucking whiny bitch or anything like that. It's like no, like
yeah, and it's like, sure, has he had that sort of in the past? Yes, but like, I think this year, and like, listen, I did not like Caleb Williams coming into the year. Like we argued with Sal about that, but like, I did not like him. I didn't like his body language in college. I don't like the way he came into the league, with his like pompous attitude. But listen, I think coming into the league, and I watched Hard Knocks, I think he got humbled a little bit coming into the league, and you could see the way he talks and the way he approached the game that he was changing that attitude. And maybe when frustration arises, sometimes it does come out of it. But until he starts like trashing his teammates, I'm not going to sit here and be
yeah.
like
I
he's the
think
problem. You know what I mean?
no, I think he can work out in that team for Chicago. I think he has the talent to be a successful quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I think once they get the right coaching staff in there, and then once they can like, maybe maybe have a few added pieces, build up the offensive line a little bit, they will be very good. They're going to be very good. They're in a very, very contentious division, which I don't think helps, but yeah, I think he's fine. I think he'll be just fine. You don't want to pile onto him now and ruin his confidence, which tends to happen with some of these. Sam Darnold is the perfect example. Like, people
Yeah,
piled on him when he was on the Jets, and then it ruined his confidence. He was kind of just moseying around. And then until he finds the Vikings, a good team with a good situation, good coaching, and now look at them. They're 12-2, and they could take the number one seed in the NFC. So like,
New York's not for everybody.
his talent is his talent, and when you come into a bad situation, like, you can't expect him to come in and just be amazing right away. It's like, he's shown hints that he's very good. The team obviously is not the best. Matt Eberflus is an idiot. They got rid of him, so that's step number one. I think we had said like Matt Eberflus is definitely gone after this year because they're going to be bad. Um, they still have some guys there on defense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really see the problem. I don't expect them to come out. I did not expect them to beat Minnesota. So like, and it's maybe the way that they're just not able to move the ball. Like Minnesota's a great defense. You know what I mean? Like you can't expect them to just be amazing. I think losing that game to the Commanders, the way that
I
they
was about to
did,
bring that up too,
it threw them way off kilter for the
because
rest of the year.
they did look competitive the first probably like 6 weeks of the season. The games that they were losing, they were in, and they were losing close games to some pretty good teams. And for a little while there, it was like, all right, Sal, maybe you're heading toward the right direction with this Bears pick. I mean, it fell off. It fell off right after the Commanders thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the difference of at what point what was their record there? It was like
They were like 4-3 or something like that.
they were 4-3, and it's the difference of being 4-4 and 5-3. I think that would have made a huge difference. In terms of them, catapulting into a playoff spot and like carrying that momentum. And when you lose a game like that, and then the whole Thanksgiving thing against Dallas was really tough. And that was not Caleb Williams' fault. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where it's like some of those things you can't control and they don't go your way, and it kind of just puts you off kilter for the rest of the year, and it becomes very frustrating every game you lose, and then the media keeps piling on you, and at
Yeah,
that
I
point
mean,
he's just got to put the blinders on and
you
just
were the number one pick because the team that you're on was bad the year before.
exactly. Yeah.
That's how things go.
So I think he'll be fine. I don't think it's that big of an issue. One team I think that has been very, very good, that I think as the weeks go on, we're going to have to keep showing more and more respect to them, is the Green Bay Packers. I mean, the
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers look really, really good. I think like that is a team that can beat any one of the top teams in the NFC at
I
any
agree.
time. They can, because they've proven that they can do it on the road. So like that is a huge thing with the team, the kind of team that they have. Like they've morphed into this like just run it down your throat ball team with a very solid, stingy defense, a good coach.
I think if they run into the Lions again for a third time too, I think they might win.
I really do think that could be the NFC Championship if it
I
shakes
think
out that way
they
in
were
in
they
like
were
the
so
bracket. But
close. They were so close that last time, and like they're probably like right now, if you were to walk into Green Bay's locker room and you ask them what team do you want to beat to get to the Super Bowl, I think they would all be dying to have another shot at the Lions.
yeah, I think that if you're the Lions, that is the one team that you hope you do not see
Yeah,
in the playoffs for sure.
I also think Packers and Eagles would be a fucking entertaining as hell game.
Yeah, I think
And they
the
did play
Lions
earlier in the year.
could beat the Eagles, Vikings, or Green Bay, but like Green Bay could easily beat any one of those teams because
Mm,
you've seen it the way they play. They have like a different like energy about them. I don't know when it switched. It was like when
Toyotathon.
yeah, that's what whatever. That's what everyone says. I'm just like, what the hell is that? Um Toyotathon Jordan Love is crazy. I think Jordan Love has always been decent. He's shown that he does not. He's had his spells, and then when he got hurt the second time and then came back, I think that was kind of when it switched, where they started relying a lot more on the run, and like it's just opened up a bunch
Oh,
of stuff for them.
yeah, Josh Jacobs has been very good
Josh Jacobs
over
has been very good.
over the second half of the season.
Yeah, because I think they sort of just switch their identity a little bit, and anytime a
Yeah.
team can switch their identity like that, like it tells me like they just have a really good coaching staff, and like they're really good at game planning and all that good stuff. Like that's a team that's dangerous. That's a team that could easily make a run to the Super Bowl in my mind. And
100%.
I would love to see them in the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people would.
Be fun.
If the Lions can't get there, I hope they can get there. You know what I mean? I don't want to see the Eagles there again.
I don't want to see the Eagles there either.
I have a feeling, and it's ever since I put it into Grok.
That's my hunch right now.
Ever since I put it into Grok on Twitter, that the Grok said Kansas City Chiefs and Eagles.
Oh,
So if that is what we get, I will be very upset.
I mean, I've been dropping Bills Eagles for weeks now, and it kind of just seems like we're going to be
Yeah.
heading toward that direction. I really don't want to see the Eagles there, but if it means the Bills are going to be there, I'll be. If the Bills are there, I'm happy with the outcome.
If the Bills are
I
there,
just need them to beat the Eagles.
if the Bills are there, there is no way in hell the Lions are going to be there.
No, I
I would
keep
love to see a
seeing the same
Bills
way.
Green Bay Super Bowl.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I don't want to see the Vikings there at all. I think the Vikings would be gross in the Super Bowl.
No, I don't want to see the Vikings there. Fuck that.
And I don't think that they could. But
Fuck
I
them.
just right now my most intriguing would probably be I would love to see the Bills and the Lions, obviously coming off the game that we just saw. I would love to see Bills and Lions. I don't think that that's ever going to be a case. So if the Bills are going to be there, I want to see Green Bay. And if the Lions are going to be there, it would probably have to be the Chiefs. And the Lions would have to take down the Chiefs. Wouldn't that be
They
the
might-
most satisfying way?
They might shit on the Chiefs if they
It'd
play.
be sick if they did. I think if the Lions get to the Super Bowl, I don't think there's any way they lose the Super Bowl. But the only way that they do lose the Super Bowl is if Dan Campbell does some faded shit during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It would have to be something like that. Like he would pull a Sean Payton and go for an onside kick to start the second half or something. Like he would just go nuts. They'd be down 7, start of the second half, onside kick. Kansas City would take it and immediately score and be up 14. And you'd be like, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's we got some interesting weeks ahead, but that being said, let's move on to next week. Okay, so first game of the week is probably one of your favorite matchups, which is the Denver Broncos heading to SoFi to take on the Chargers. The Chargers are -2.5 at home, over under 42.5. Another primetime game at SoFi.
Yeah, I picked against the Broncos last week, and I picked the Chargers. Both were very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been starting to. I feel like I take the Chargers out of me because I never want to take the Chargers. Every week I want to pick against them, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's never smart. So I always go against my gut and I pick the Chargers. So I'm like, oh well, they have John Harbaugh and they always seem to figure it out. This is why I'm like having that dilemma again. I'm like, oh, the Broncos have been playing so good. They should have a week where they dip. They're on the road, but I mean, it's probably going to be 60% Broncos fans.
And the Broncos have won 4 in a row. So
Well, they have. I don't know if I like that or don't like that. I'm going to take them. I'm taking the Broncos. They're going to beat them.
And I mean, yeah, I think like
it'll be a big. It's going to hurt for LA.
Because right now,
Dropping 8 and
if
7.
I mean, if Denver wins this would be a huge game if Denver won. This would be huge for them. Because then you have Houston.
They're pretty much in the playoffs if Denver wins.
Yeah, that would probably solidify it for them. If they won and then say like Houston loses to the Chiefs, the Ravens lose to the Steelers, like that could easily happen. And then the Denver Broncos would be above both of them. So I don't know, man. This is a tough one. Because obviously the Chargers are going to be
It's a close
chomping
game
at the bit too. I don't know, because yeah, so the AFC is pretty much set at this point. Yeah, I'll take Denver. I think Denver should win this game. I'm with you there.
Broncos Packers guy Nolan.
Yeah. I have loved the Packers this year though, for sure. Houston at Kansas City. This is the first Saturday game. Kansas City's minus what?
I don't want to pick Kansas City games anymore.
Kansas City's -3.5 at home.
Did we all take the Browns last week? I know me and Sal
No, I
did.
think I took Kansas. I want to say I took Kansas City. I don't think there was any way I took the Browns. There's
Yeah,
no
good
way.
for you.
There's no way I would have taken the Browns, and if I did, I was
So stupid.
faded.
So is
Um,
Pat? What's Pat's like? Is he like banged up?
they
And
said he was
obviously he's
week to
gonna play.
week, so I don't know exactly what that means.
I mean, he's gonna play. It doesn't fucking matter, dude.
I think he's gonna play. Like, if he doesn't play and you lose against a good team like Houston, and then you're gonna be one game ahead of Buffalo. I don't know. I think that's not a scenario you want to be in.
I don't know. Do they really? They don't lose this game, right?
No, but I think Houston covers that 3.5.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
Am I falling
yeah,
into the trap again?
yeah, yeah. Kansas City covering a spread more than 1 week in a row. No,
No.
thank you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Both these teams are
That's a
five,
good
eight, and
point.
one against the spread, though.
Hmm,
So both these teams really hate covering.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know though. I don't really like the prospect of Houston playing in Kansas City, but
No, I hate that too.
I also don't like Kansas City covering more than a field goal spread.
Right, and since Houston's actually good, this game probably ends up being a close game because that's just what Kansas City does. Yeah, I think it's wiser to pick Houston spread.
Is it weird that if somehow Patrick Mahomes doesn't play, I love
You like
Kansas
the
City
Chiefs
minus three
more?
and a half.
Oh,
Yeah, I
dude,
like
me
the
too.
Chiefs more because they're
Why?
just gonna be like
Carson Wentz would
better.
come out and throw 3 touchdowns.
Carson Wentz would come out and ball, and I'd be pissed.
Literally, dude.
Um, I think that'd probably be a good argument for Patrick Mahomes not to play is the fact that you have like, as much as I fucking hate him, you have like a very competent backup in Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
So like you could just be like, listen, Pat, we got to save you for the playoffs. We're 2 games ahead of Buffalo. We don't got to risk it. That would be a decent argument. And they did say he was week to week. So what does week to week mean? You know what I mean? Like they'll go week by week. It's like, okay, what is he like this week? We have 3 days until the game. Like, is he good
pretty
or
much
what?
their version. It's an NFL version of day to day. Just because
Because
they
didn't
play every
he
week.
did he sprained his ankle, right? It wasn't.
I don't know, bro. They're probably lying. Whatever he did, it's a lie. Yeah, they
Did you
didn't
see
do
the thing
anything,
where
or it's way worse.
it's like they're sacrificing a lamb in the Chiefs locker room?
They have to be, dude. There's those memes have been on Twitter
They're
the whole
summoning the
fucking
devil
season for the Chiefs. I've seen that fire ritual like millions of times, saying the Chiefs locker room like conjuring up a win in
with like
tonight's game.
like the witch flying around. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's definitely. I mean, I if I were to like gun to my head, like pick what I think will happen, Patrick Mahomes is going to play. The Chiefs are going to win, but Houston is going to cover that 3.5. It's going to be a close game until the end. Some crazy shit's going to happen. Houston's
Yeah,
going to.
you know what's gonna happen? Houston's gonna be down by 3, and they're gonna be driving in the last minute of the game, and Stroud's gonna throw a pick.
Yeah, he does love. They come in batches for him. I feel
That
like.
and that's also just how the Chiefs win the game.
Yeah.
Like they're normally not winning on their own game-winning drives. They're normally like something just happens.
No, you know what it's going to be is they're going to be down by 3. They're going to be driving. Houston is. They're going to get to like a 4th and 7 or something like that. And like there's going to be some controversial catch on the play. And it'll probably be pretty obvious. There'll be a very good argument for it to be a catch. And the refs are going to come and be like, call reversed, not a catch. And then the game will be over. That's what I think will happen. So we'll see how right I am. I asked Grok what the outcome of the game will be. He gave me the script. All right, next game. The Pittsburgh Steelers head to the Ravens. The Ravens are -6.5 at home, over under 45.5. Big spread here.
Big game for the Ravens.
I don't know if I like that spread.
No,
It's a little disrespectful, don't you think?
the Steelers have had a few of these this year. I mean, we were talking about that last week. We thought the Steelers were a bit disrespected by that spread, and I guess not.
True.
Philly looked much better. And Pittsburgh really couldn't work the ball down the field at all. They just no one was home. Russell had everybody was covered down the field, so all he had that he could do was pass the ball off and check down. And every time that happened, the Eagles were right there to meet him. So
Well,
that
I
game
think
never really.
where that
It
game
was
got
a
out of where that game got out of hand for them was when Najee Harris fumbled. I think
yeah,
that
dude.
was
That
when it
was it.
really
100%. That was killer. I was so pissed.
yeah, that was where it fell apart for them.
I'm picking them again this week, so doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, 6.5 is so many.
I trust Pittsburgh way more than I trust Baltimore.
Yeah, I'll take Pittsburgh. I, I just think this is too many points, but is it like a trap? I feel like I've fallen for too many traps this year.
It's huge for the Steelers, by the way, that Watt did not tear his ACL or whatever they thought happened initially. A lot of
Yeah,
people
it's
thought he was
just a
done for the
sprain.
year.
Yeah,
Thank God, dude.
yeah, that was huge because if he's out, this team's done.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Well, is he not playing this week? Is that what the line? Is that why this line is like this? He's probably not, right?
If I had to guess.
That's probably why this line is where it is. That would make sense. I kind of like forgot about that. It says he's questionable.
He has not been rolled out yet.
So I mean, I don't know. I guess. But that line tells me that JJ or TJ Watt is not playing. That was what that line would tell me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what? I think I'm comfortable taking Pittsburgh anyway. To be honest, whether he plays or not. All right. Now on to Sunday.
Sunday.
The Cleveland Browns head to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals are minus 7.5 at home, over under 46.5.
Yeah, you won't see me pick the Browns again this year.
Yeah, are they not starting Jameis anymore?
They're canceled. No,
I think it's probably going to be DTR, right? Jameis got benched last week, so can't imagine.
I mean, how many games did he play? He racked up. Oh, he's been playing for longer than I thought. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean,
6, 7. So he's racked up. That's a Jameis stat line, dude. He's racked up 13 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
what I would expect.
It's just, dude, if he started all year for a team again, he'd go 30-30 again. It's so funny.
It is kind of nuts how he just slings it without, like he does not care, and it's kind of funny that he's like known for that, and he just continues to do it. It was so good after that Pittsburgh snow game. It was so good. His stock could not have been higher. And then, like, since then, he's just been so bad.
Now, on the Bengals side of things, I know that Josh Allen is, at this point, pretty much the MVP. If the Bengals were good and they were going to make the playoffs, Joe Burrow,
I think by now Josh Allen would have eclipsed him, but it would have been close. Like, it would be a lot closer.
I mean, yeah, Allen's last 2 weeks were just ridiculous.
His run has just been crazy.
Burrow's stats are also just ridiculous this year, and so are Jamar Chase's.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow has been playing so good and so well. It sucks that it's like a wasted year.
Yeah, dude, it sucks. And
you know, there's still a slimmer
Burrow also
of
being
hope.
healthy all year.
Yeah, him being healthy all year, Jamar Chase being healthy all year. They lose Zach Moss, but then you find this gem in Chase Brown. Chase Brown's been amazing. Like, you have this amazing team, and your defense is shit. Your offensive line is shit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the Chargers need to lose every game, and So do the freaking Colts and Dolphins if they want to make it.
Yeah, which obviously that could happen, but it's so slim
I
that
mean,
it's like
if the Ravens lose it out and the Bengals win out, they'd also finish with the same record. But I mean,
that's not
these are
gonna happen.
slim odds here.
But yeah, I think it's very unfortunate because like one of those, it's gonna come down to like they're gonna be one game out. Like if they had one more win, they might have been able to sneak in.
I think it's going to end that way. I think they're
Yeah,
going to end up a game or two out of the playoffs, and it's going to hurt even more.
yeah. It'll come down to like that game against the Steelers that they probably should have won. The game against the Ravens that they probably should have won.
Yeah.
If they had that game against the Ravens, that would have been huge. Huge in terms of making the playoffs. But, all you can do, right, is just keep the momentum going to next year, build
I
up
mean,
the
two games against the Ravens, bro, that they could have won.
yeah.
That first one went to OTs. I mean, yeah. They lost to the Chiefs by a point.
Yeah, a lot of close games, dude. They easily could be at the top of the AFC. Like, and that's so crazy to say because they're not going to make the playoffs, but they
Yep.
they
And they
literally
lost
could have
to
been like
they
either the
lost to
second or third
Washington.
seed.
They lost to Washington on one of the last plays of the game too.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Someone
Yeah,
someone
man. I
tweeted at one point like if all of the one score games would have went differently, what their record would have been, and it was
bro.
ridiculous. Like they would be the second or
They're
third seed.
they're the 2015 Giants with Eli and Odell. I'm
Yeah,
not
literally,
kidding.
literally.
That team lost like if they're one score games, they went 6-10 that year. But if their defense didn't blow like I think I don't know, five or something leads, they would have went like 13-3 or something like that year. It was something ridiculous. But the defense blew games nonstop for the Giants that year. And it was like, oh, probably Eli's best year of his career, and then Odell's best year that he ever had easily, and it was all lost by one score games, led up by the defense.
Yeah, and
So
I
I was
think
gonna say I'd be really frustrated to be a Bengals fan this year, but you know what? I have seen a season like that. And it sucks.
yeah, I think Zach Taylor is probably on the hot seat. I think a lot of this falls on him.
Yeah,
Um, just in terms of some of his play calling has been very questionable. And obviously you're at the helm, and you have such an amazing talent in Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. It cannot be wasted on you. Like years like this cannot happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't go from being the worst team in the league when Joe Burrow got hurt to then going to the Super Bowl to then being again missing the playoffs. This team should make the playoffs every single year. And
yeah,
that's kind of what they need to build towards. And, at least this year, you kind of can see where the issues lie. And it's not Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So at
I
least you
know.
got that.
I
And you
think,
build up the defense in the
yeah, I
offensive
was
line.
gonna say weeks ago when we were really in the thick of the Bengals, like losing games week after week. I think me and Sauer both kind of saying like, yeah, Zach Taylor's gonna be outs after this year. I don't think I'd be surprised if they got rid of him. I would, unless they had a really solid plan and they had like a top shelf guy that they had to come in here that they were really confident in. I'd be surprised if they move off of Taylor.
Yeah. And I mean, they did have some key injuries to the offensive line, like obviously Orlando Brown and who else? Trent Brown. All right, moving on. The Arizona Cardinals head to the Carolina Panthers. Arizona is minus 4.5 on the road, over under 46.5. I think it's I think it's frustrating that Carolina has played so well, and then they just have a stinker against Dallas.
Oh,
That
we all picked him too.
that was the most that was the biggest trap Vegas has ever set. Was like them being favored, and then it's the first time they were favored in like 30 games. Like that was such a trap by Vegas, and we all
Yeah,
fell
no,
for it.
we're so stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, at the eye test though, like they have been playing like way better. And it's just so funny that the first time they're favored in 30 games, they come out and have a stinker against Dallas.
Vegas knew what they were doing. They know how many people hate Dallas and how many people are like, "Oh wow, Carolina's playing so good and Dallas sucks. We're gonna take Carolina." It was just like that was easy money for Vegas.
Definitely.
Free money
Um,
that they
this
made off of
game,
guys like me.
yeah, this game is. I will take the Cardinals just because, like, I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals should have a pretty good time against this team.
I
But
like this. I like this matchup for the Cardinals. I'm with you.
yeah, me too.
See, I don't have a Sal to agree with this week, so I guess we're just together on everything.
Yeah, I guess so. Have we disagreed on any game yet? I don't think
I
we
don't think
have.
so. No.
Fuck, this is not good. But I feel like this happens when like you're not here and me and Sal are doing this. Like me and Sal agree on like every game.
Yeah, we'll
Um.
see.
All right. Next game. Philadelphia Eagles head to the Commanders. Eagles are minus 3.5 on the road. Over under 45.5. This is a big game. This is a big game for the Commanders.
I don't see the Commanders covering this without winning. That being said, I'm taking Philly. It is a big game for the Commanders. It's a big identity game for the Commanders.
I agree because I feel like as of late they really haven't shown the same sort of excellence that they did in the beginning of
No,
the year.
and we all thought they should have covered that spread against the Saints last week. We all picked them against the Saints. The Saints suck.
Right. And I don't know. This
Their light is very dim. They're going to make the playoffs, but
it sucks because like if Washington loses this game, it makes things very complicated in the NFC. Like it's gonna make it such a hodgepodge towards the end of the year on seeding and all that good stuff.
oh yeah, maybe they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, if they lose this game, it's gonna be very, very
Yeah,
complicated because you have Atlanta at 7-7, you have Arizona at 7-7, Seattle at 8-6, you know, and
dude.
then you have the Rams and Tampa Bay at 8-6. So
Mike
like,
Tweedley took a bet a few weeks ago. I think it was like over plus. It's like plus 200 for them to not make the playoffs. And I was like, it's a good bet.
yeah, I'd say it's a good bet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Let's see who's like they play the Eagles and then
Then the Falcons and Cowboys. They should make it. They should. But they'll probably lose one of those games. If they lose to the Cowboys, I won't be
I think the
surprised.
only way that they win those last two games is if they lose this one. If they
Mm,
lose this one, they definitely have a high possibility of winning those last two games because it's going to be more.
the
There's going to be
urgency.
more urgency, and if they win this game, I could see them losing one of those games easily because they're going to be on a high because they're going to get some breathing room. But yeah, I mean, you can't even say like Hungry Dog runs faster because the Eagles want to keep pace with the Lions.
Yeah, they
They
want the
want to
one
get that
seed.
number one seed. They're going to keep pace with the Vikings. Like they need this win also. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to take the Eagles here.
Wow. I thought that was going to be where we break.
Oh, you took the Eagles too?
Yeah.
Fuck. God damn it. All right. No, it's fine. I don't really care. The New York Giants head to Atlanta, take on the Falcons. Falcons are minus 7.5 at home, over under 42.5.
This
Yeah.
is where we
Sorry,
break.
Sal. I'm gonna have to downgrade. I think he said Atlanta minus 8.5, but it's 7.5. So I'll write that down.
Oh, he was probably looking at CBS Sports because I have 8.5 too.
Um, and Michael Penix. What do we think he's gonna do?
Well, good week for him to have his first NFL start playing the horrible New York Giants. Even with a rookie quarterback, I mean, they should definitely win this game by 7.5, right?
They should, but
Dude,
it's also a rookie quarterback.
you know what I didn't realize? Bijan Robinson just had a fucking great second half of the year.
He's been very good.
Very good. And I
Yeah.
was like, after 5 weeks this year, I was like, all right, this guy doesn't like what is he doing?
Yeah, Drake London's had a decent year also.
Drake London had a great start to the year too, but uh, they have enough
Darnell
talent
Mooney's
where
had a
they
good
should.
year.
Yeah, they have enough talent where they should cover this 7.5. It's good. It's good. It's a good game for a rookie quarterback to play his first game. I'm not saying he has a great game, but I, I I can see him probably not taking many passing attempts, maybe throwing like 2 touchdowns and throwing for maybe 200 yards.
Uh, this is where we disagree. I take the Giants plus 7.5.
Yeah.
I think like in terms of like where these two teams are at, Atlanta hasn't shown that they can cover this big of a spread, even against a team like the Giants, and especially with a rookie quarterback. It's such an unknown. Like this game, and two, I want the under in this game. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
mean,
like
Atlanta's at kind of a low point.
I can't really see either one of these teams like pulling away from one another. Like I definitely don't. I don't know if the Giants win this game, but 7.5 is a lot, especially when you're asking your rookie quarterback to play his first game in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like it's
I get it.
and I obviously I don't agree with the move. I know Sal loves the move, but like I still don't agree. I think as long as you have a chance to go into the playoffs, you have to stick with your veteran quarterback. As bad as he has been, they still got the win like this past week. I really don't understand it. Like I get that he hasn't played the best, but asking a rookie quarterback to come in and try to win out and sneak into the playoffs is asking a lot. You know what I mean? Like, and if he doesn't make it, so what? But it's like at the same time, there's going to be a lot of Falcons fans saying this season could have been great. We could have easily made the playoffs. And
Hmm.
what they're hoping for is that a lot of that blame gets put on Kirk Cousins. But I think if you come out there and Michael Penix has a stinker for 3 games and you don't make the playoffs, it's going to raise a lot of
You're right.
questions as to
It's
why
gonna
did you
make,
make that move.
yeah, and it's gonna make
So,
going into next year a lot shittier for the
especially coming into
Falcons.
a game like this where Kirk Cousins is more of the veteran and you give him a chance to rebound at home against a shitty team. So, like, I've said my piece on that, but I just like I don't know. I think it's a very confusing move. I think if they lose to the Raiders, 100%. I think you put Penix in there because your shot to make the playoffs goes way down with a loss to the Raiders and being or
I was surprised when I got
six
the
and eight.
notification. I really was. And like I said last week, I don't really feel strongly either way, the way you and Sal do. I see both sides of the argument, and I think I can understand them both kind of simultaneously. I think I lean a little bit more toward you. 'Cause like I said, if I was surprised by them putting in Penix after winning the other night, then that means I probably thought they should keep Cousins in there if they won the freaking game. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd
It's
be
definitely like you
curious to
say.
see.
It's definitely weird.
I obviously I hope Penix does well. Like I really like that they
It
drafted
can
him.
go bad.
I think that like you know the reason against me would be like, hey, this is why we drafted this guy. You know what I mean? Like everyone questioned the move at the time, but fast forward to right now, like, okay, this might be why you did it. You know what I mean? Like you expected Kirk Cousins to come in and have this great year, and he did in the beginning of the year, but he's just kind of been fading and hasn't been playing well. And maybe you're just ready to turn over the keys. You know what I mean? You're ready to pass the torch. That's what it seems like to me. I don't think you can make a move like this and switch it back. You can't go back to Kirk Cousins after
No,
this.
no.
Even
Unless
next
you
year, I feel like I don't think you can go back to Kirk Cousins.
unless you fake an injury for Penix.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. I don't think that you. I don't know what Kirk Cousins' contract is. Do we know?
Yeah.
I think he's probably still signed for next year, but they might try to trade him.
Who knows about his future?
I don't know what team would pick him up. I mean, the Giants might want to pick him up if they can't get a quarterback at the draft.
I don't want him, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a team that would want him. I mean, maybe
Dude,
Tennessee.
no. He's if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing for the Jets next year, Kirk Cousins is a fucking Jet, right?
Yeah, the Jets could want him.
He's such a Jet.
But now Aaron Rodgers has changed his mind and he wants to be on the Jets next year. So I don't know what.
Yes, and he could change his mind again in 5 minutes.
Very true. Very true. He's gonna take one
I know.
ayahuasca retreat. He's gonna come back and be like, you know what? I'm gonna
I
be a painter or some shit.
I'm gonna check out that Netflix documentary on him because when I heard there was a Netflix doc coming out about him, I was like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, what is
Yeah,
this?
it's out right now.
Apparently, it's actually pretty interesting, and it's not like Rogers being me, 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 me.
Oh, I think it is Rogers being me, 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 but like it's from like his perspective and everything that's going on. So I think
I mean,
people
I haven't seen
sympathize
it.
with him.
This is what I've heard. But
I saw a few clips and like I think there was one of the clips I saw was about the him and his family like, and it's like I think they try really hard to like make you sympathize with Aaron Rodgers, but when you look at it from like a zoomed out view, you're like he really probably is just a dick. Like he probably is
yeah,
just a dick. Everyone has a family member like that like ends up just not talking to anyone and like kind of just removing themselves from the family, and everyone looks at them like the crazy one. Every family has somebody like that, and this is just he happens to be one of the best quarterbacks ever, and he has a very unique situation, and I think like that's just kind of what happened. I'm not gonna sit there and sympathize with Aaron Rodgers, like you know what I mean, like okay, you can cry all you want, but like you're in the NFL and you won a Super Bowl, like I'm never gonna sympathize with you because your family doesn't like you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if multiple people don't like you, there might be something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, get it? Like,
yes.
and maybe he admits that in the doc. I don't know, but I definitely would. I would probably watch it too, just to see.
I don't know how many parts it is or anything, but I'll
I think
probably
it's three. I think
probably
it's
check it
three
out.
episodes. So we'll see. But yeah, I we'll see. I really do want Penix to do good. Um, just because I want them to make it exciting. Maybe they can play spoiler and get into the playoffs. You never know. Anything could happen. But I don't agree with it. Um, anyway, but that's where we differ. That's the first game that we differ on, and I would not have guessed that. All right.
Hmm.
The Tennessee Titans hit Indianapolis, take on the Colts. Colts are minus 3.5 at home, over under 42.5. Man, the Colts are weird, man. The Colts have been this weird team for like multiple years now, where it's like they're like it's almost
So
like they're
weird.
not a team, they're like a machine.
Yeah, like an 8 and 9 or 9 and 8 machine.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? Like they don't have
100%.
like they have the identity of being this like I don't know, just a stingy team.
A well-to-do team.
Yeah, just like a machine, you know what I mean? Like they churn out 9-8 seasons or 8-9 seasons like nothing, but
Are they the new Titans, bro?
kind of, yeah.
But they just don't find a way to squeak into the playoffs when they do it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think they're not big fans of Anthony Richardson, I don't think.
Did did we do the Jets game before this?
I don't think we've gotten there yet, no.
Okay, I couldn't because we started talking about Rodgers. I wanted to make sure that didn't mean we missed
No,
something.
we started talking about Rodgers because
Oh, because
we were talking
okay,
about where Kirk
Jets.
Cousins would
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do they try to move off Anthony Richardson? I think that they probably do.
I know, but who I don't know, I could see Seattle trying him out.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean,
I
they're
think
not
that'd
going to
be
have Geno
interesting.
Smith forever.
That's what I mean, and they're not really in a position where they're going to be drafting a quarterback with a high pick soon, unless they can figure out a trade. But I don't know. I don't know what trade package they're doing to draft a quarterback high. I don't think they are looking for that
They
anyway
probably have
right
to give
now.
up. They probably have to give up something crazy for Anthony. Although I don't know, the NFL's weird with how they do trades.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes dudes draft stocks just like die high.
They might be able to just like get away with giving away like a third round pick for him or
No, I
something,
I think they'd still
or fifth
they'd,
round
they'd
pick.
they'd probably still ask for their first round pick, and at that point, it's just up to Seattle if they'd want to go through with that.
I don't know if I
Um,
would because I don't know if like it's such a question mark that it wouldn't. I don't think it would be worth it,
yeah,
especially if there's maybe a middle of the pack quarterback that you like that
true.
maybe you could develop. I don't know because I mean Geno Smith, he's old. I don't know how many years he's got left on his contract or anything. Is it up after this year? Do we
I
know?
don't know, but like he'll probably just keep resigning there.
I mean, yeah, it's
I don't
kind
I
of
don't think
worked
it.
for them.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be looking to like whenever his contract's up. I don't think he's gonna be looking for a bunch of money. Like he knows what situation he's in.
Yeah, I mean they're 8-6. They could win the NFC West still. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough one. But yeah, in this game,
I mean, I don't pick the Titans, so
yeah,
I'm taking Indy.
I'll just take Indy. I'm not gonna overthink that one. All right, next game, the Detroit Lions head to Chicago to take on the Bears. Detroit is -6.5 on the road, over under 47.5.
Yeah, speaking of teams I don't take, the
Got
Bears.
Bears. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions here. Coming off a loss, this will be a good and everyone's gonna be low on them too because of all the injuries they just had. So like people are gonna.
Yes, I think the energy around the Bears right now is just like I, I think this team just wants the season to be over at this point because it seems to be getting worse week after week.
Yeah,
And the
I
sooner
agree.
the sooner their season's over, the better it is for this team long term.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that have they even won a game since the Washington game? Like, how many games have they lost in a row? It's at
No,
least
they haven't won
five.
since then.
Yeah, it's at least 5 games that they've
The
lost.
uh the New York Mets have won a game more recently than the Chicago Bears.
Wait, actually?
Yes. The Mets have won a game more recently than three NFL yeah. The Giants, the Bears, and somebody else.
Wow. They haven't, because they had a bye the week before. They haven't won since October 13th.
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
it's horrible. It's definitely not good.
After starting 4-2. Yeah, so they would have been 5-2 if they if they won that Commanders game.
It's crazy. I was in
Instead, they were
a
4-3 and have not won since.
I was in a Fermanti Brothers sandwich shop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania when I saw that happen.
The
Yeah, we
primary.
were sitting down and we were going to the Pittsburgh game the next night, and obviously there's a bunch of people in there watching football because it's Sunday. Everybody's like, "Whoa!" And I look up at the TV and it shows the replay, and it's like, "What the fuck?"
I was watching on the couch with Taylor, and she was on her phone, and I screamed when it happened, and I scared the shit out of her. It was kind of funny.
I was happy when it happened.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
like,
I
I was
was
like,
liking
dude,
the
that's
Commanders, dude.
awesome.
I also think I had the Commanders that week, and
Oh, I probably
I
did.
think they ended up covering because of that.
They did.
I think it was only
I remember that they
it's a
did.
1 point spread. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions and not really think about it.
Me too.
All right, the LA Rams head to the Meadowlands, take on the Jets. The Rams are -3 on the road, over under 46.5.
This is jet spreads are starting to get a little tricky.
Yeah, it's
But
basically if they want to show up and play or not. I feel like
yeah, I think here though, like this is a game you could overthink if you want and maybe take the Jets, but I think when I see something like this, I simplify it down and just say Rams are better. They should cover this 3.5.
yeah,
Does the old Stafford and Rodgers thing have any sort of weight with you?
think so. I don't think
Not
so
with me
at
either.
all. Because I mean, I don't know. Like the Lions were so bad during that time, and Green Bay was so good. So I don't really think it even mattered. So yeah, no, definitely not. I mean,
Okay.
I do think the Rams probably the Rams are definitely way better than the Jets, and the Jets are
Yeah,
just
I mean the
so
Rams
bad.
defense is definitely horrible. So, like you
The
said, it
Rams
just
defense is
depends.
terrible. I definitely could see
Depends
this
what
going
the
over for
Jets
no
want to do.
reason. This
Oh, this
might
is a
be an
good.
over.
This might be a good over bet.
Um,
But I'll take the Rams just because you just trust them way more than you do the Jets.
yeah, I'll take the Rams because the Rams have to keep winning, dude. If they drop this game to the Jets and they miss the playoffs because of it, that'd be funny.
I could totally see that happen in this
They don't win the
batshit
NFC West and then
wild
they miss
NFC
the
West.
playoffs. Yeah, because
Yeah,
they because they lost to the Jets. Although I could see that happening actually. No, when I said that, I was like, "That'd be funny," and then I was like, "Wait, that could actually happen."
definitely can happen.
I'm not gonna switch though. I'm taking the Rams. All right. The Minnesota Vikings head to Seattle. Seattle's +3 at home, over under 43.5. Interesting game.
This is a tough game to pick. It's really tough.
I think Seattle wins this
I
game.
oh man, I was gonna say at home, I think I'm taking the spread for Seattle.
Me and you are just
I
making
really
out.
do.
Me
I
and you are
know.
just making out, dude. I kind of like that though,
This
but
this could be end up being actually a very good game.
I think it should be, yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna stick with Seattle. I think it's Seattle is also weird. I feel like their games are hard to pick. Also,
I I don't know if I've really gotten a good handle on them this year. I wouldn't be surprised if my Seattle record for the year is bad.
yeah, it's very hard to predict how they're
My
gonna play.
honestly, I'm pretty sure my NFC West record in general is probably pretty bad.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like I'm always taking the Cardinals in the wrong weeks. I feel like I'm never picking the Rams in the right weeks, and the Niners, same thing. I feel like I get high in the Niners when obviously I should. But I mean, it's yeah, probably the same for most people. I mean, first and last place in that division separated by like 3 games.
It is tough. It is tough. Yeah, this could be a week where, say the Rams do lose to the Jets and Seattle's able to come out with a win, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they,
It's a big
they
week.
catapult the Rams and they could end up winning that division, but it would make things interesting for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with Seattle here.
Yeah, I think it's a good matchup for Seattle. I really do.
All right, the Patriots head to Buffalo, take on the Bills. Bills are -14.5, over under 46.5. Huge spread, and I think rightly so.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could take the Patriots here.
I was gonna say I think the Bills just kind of cover. I don't know if it's a I don't know if it's an egregious like blowout.
In
I
years
just think
past,
they
this would be such a place where I would take the Patriots because it'd be so classic. Like, even in the recent years when they still had Belichick and like they were bad, I would 100% take the Patriots here because
oh they still play Buffalo really tough.
they would come in
Most
and
games
play
are still
Buffalo
close.
tough and like make it a close game. And like, especially after Buffalo's been rolling, like they just play a close game for no reason. I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but I think it's very unlikely. Um, Buffalo has just been way too good. They've been way too good. They're rolling. Could they have a little bit of an oopsie coming off that big win against the Lions? Maybe, but I don't think the Patriots can keep up. It might be a thing where like you take maybe Patriots like +4.5 in the first half, and then take Buffalo second half, or take Buffalo for the game. Like take Buffalo
Yeah.
minus like 16.5 for the game, and then take Patriots +4.5 in the first half. That would probably be a better bet to me, because Buffalo might just come out flat in the first half. All right. But that being said, I am taking Buffalo. The San Francisco 49ers head to Miami. Miami's minus 1.5 at home, over under 44.5. Another interesting game.
Fuck these teams.
Yeah, both these teams are just like weird. Every time I want to sit here
They're
and
the
take
same
Miami,
thing.
they suck.
Yeah.
But I'm
And
gonna
same
take
thing with the
Miami.
49ers.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take Miami.
Fuck, dude. We really are making out. I was gonna say I think like my slight lean is just Miami. I
Especially because this is in Miami.
yeah, I think they're just a little bit I think they're slightly more well put together right now than the 49ers are.
Yeah, it's like both of these teams are 5-9 against the spread. Both these teams are 6-8. How
Weird.
the hell am I supposed to pick? Like, what the fuck is this?
So weird.
San Fran has just been decimated with with injuries. Obviously, the Dolphins decimated with injuries. They still don't make any sense. Like the Dolphins, I feel like once Tua came back, they should be like rolling, but they're like not. It's very strange. But I will be taking Miami minus 1.5.
We agree.
Awesome. All right. God, we're having a make-out sesh while Sal's not here. All right. The Jacksonville Jaguars head to Las Vegas, take on the Raiders. The Raiders are minus 1.5 at home, over under 40.5. Another sucky game, dude.
This is a sucky game.
Mac Jones,
Yeah, Raiders and
Jack Moans. You're taking the Raiders.
yeah, hasn't this show just turned into the let's all pick against Jacksonville show for the
No,
last like
I think
4
I'm gonna.
weeks?
Well, especially since Mac Jones is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I thought for a second there that they were gonna cover against the Jets because it was Mac Jones.
They almost did.
They almost did.
But then he threw that back.
But then he threw that pick. Yep. Which is so
And
him.
no one was there.
That was such a Mac Jones moment.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take him here though. I don't really have any reason for it. Both these
Yeah,
teams
no,
are
they're just two
really
bad
bad.
teams.
Yeah, and when you take two bad teams, if you're just gonna ask me which team wins, I'll just take Jacksonville over the Raiders.
Dude, imagine this game ends up being like 42-39.
Definitely could be.
It's just like one of the most entertaining games of the year. Yeah, right.
No, it won't be entertaining because these teams are so bad, but it'll be like one of those random games you're like, oh, okay. All right. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Dallas, take on the Cowboys. The Buccaneers are minus 3.5 on the road, over under 48.5. What do you think?
I mean, I could definitely see the Cowboys being in this game, but I don't know. I'm gonna pick the Bucks. They had a great game last week. Maybe that's a big catapult for them. They want to win this division. They're better than Dallas, and they should beat Dallas. Maybe they just come out and win pretty
Yeah,
convincingly. Look well.
I
Baker
agree
finishes
with
the
you
season
there.
on a high note, like the way he started, and
And with the whole like Mike Evans thing, like Mike Evans
yeah,
needs to average however
yeah,
many
he had a fucking
yards.
great game last week.
Yeah, I think he's going to continue to play well just just for the fact of like that
That's what he
record.
does. Yeah.
And, Tampa Bay, I feel like in my mind Tampa Bay is the best team in that division. They should be way better than Atlanta. They probably should be more than a game ahead in this division. And I think this is a
Yeah,
good chance for them to
they
keep
look like
pace.
if they finish the season, if they keep playing well and they finish the season strong, they could be a pest in the playoffs again like they were last year.
Yeah, I mean if if they win out,
Yeah, they went out go
finish
11 and
11 and
6. That's a good
6,
record.
that is a good
It's a good
record.
team.
Is
11
that
and
was
6
that
is
their
a
record
very
last
good
year?
team. That was.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, can't ask for anything better than that. Yeah. All right, last game.
How about this spread?
The New Orleans Saints head to the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is minus 14.5 at home, over under 42.5. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
it's
I
at
feel
home.
like
That's why.
I feel like this is kind of. You thought they were minus 14.5 on the road? That'd
No,
be
I
crazy.
wasn't really paying attention to that.
Um, yeah, I mean, huge spread. I think it. Yeah, this is just like Buffalo and New England. Like it's a really good team, Super Bowl type team against a really shitty bottom tier team. I feel like the spread should be 14.5 with how Green Bay's played.
Yeah, man. I mean that, and like, what reason is there to take the Saints?
Yeah,
Like,
and did we
what
find out more
feeling do you?
about Alvin Kamara too?
I haven't seen anything, but even with that, it's like,
Yeah, I don't think
what
that
gives you
really.
the feeling that they're going to play any sort of competent football?
He's questionable.
Like they have no offense.
They have nothing. You talk about a team that, like, remember, like in the first two games of the year, we were like, are the Saints gonna go to the Super Bowl or something? Like, we remember we were like,
So
how
stupid,
are they
dude.
so good? They won those two games, first two games of the year by so many points, and we were like,
Oh,
what the
gotta.
hell?
You're like, oh, is this just one of those years that Derek Carr is going to be good? No.
Yeah,
Just
and
need
he
to
he got banged
next
up
year.
and they've had some injuries. If they stayed healthy, who knows what would have happened? They probably would be a little bit more competitive than they are right now, but
Yeah, maybe I should just refrain from saying things in the first 2 weeks of the year.
I mean, we overreacted, but so did everybody,
Yes,
you know?
it's a
So,
fact.
um I can't take the Saints here.
No, how could ya?
I'll take
How
Green
could
Bay.
ya?
Much as I hate taking like big spreads in prime time, uh I just like Green Bay would have to really play like a really shitty game for this. Or, if
Definitely.
it's a snow game or something like that.
It is.
It is going to be a snow game?
Right now forecast, but it's Wednesday and the
The
game's
actual
Monday.
forecast though, or are you just looking at CBS?
Look at fucking CBS, dude.
CBS is never right.
I don't know. Sometimes they are.
Sometimes. Very rarely though.
No, it's Wednesday and the game's Monday.
Because
It's
I used to do
probably
that
not
shit
going to
too
stay the
when
same.
we would do the podcast and I'd be looking at CBS Sports. I would do the same shit. I'd be like, is it gonna snow this game? And then it like never did. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, how good is like not realizing that the game's going to be played in a dome and then you see the weather and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be snowing
You shouldn't
there.
even put the weather if it's a dome game. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let's see. It says like 50% chance of snow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's who the fuck knows? That's a coin toss. It being 5 days away.
Let's say 3 to 4 inches of snow though, which is a pretty good amount. So we'll see. I would love to see whenever there is like a game that should be shitty. I'd rather it be a snow game because then you get a game like Pittsburgh and Cleveland, which is actually like an exciting game, rather than it just being a regular night and you just see Green Bay shit on the Saints for
Yeah.
60 minutes. Like I'd rather not see that. Um. All right, pick three time. You went 2-1. I went 1-2. Sal goes 0-3. Bringing our records to me and you being tied at the minute at 23 and 22,
Mm.
just above 500. You fought back for sure. I've been kind of just hovering around 500 the whole
I've
time.
I've I've had a really good second half of the year.
And then you can't say the same for Sal. Sal is at 17 and 28. So I don't know, man. We gotta get Sal back on track, man. He's not having it in fantasy. He's not having it in pick three. He needs to. Although, did he win this week in playoffs?
Not in my leagues.
Damn.
He had a big lead, and then all of a sudden,
So he's probably just
Brennan the
going through it.
barber came back, and yeah,
That's why he's not on the pod this week. He's just going through it. All right. Well, I'll start with his pick three. He's got Arizona minus 4.5 naturally. He has Atlanta -7.5 because of Michael Penix Jr. And he has Dallas +4. Uh, so yeah, I hope it works out for him. And then do you want me to go next or you want to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Number one, Houston +3.5, falling into the trap again. Against Kansas City. It's basically David versus Goliath at this point.
Just
I will
do it
do.
until
I
it
will do.
works.
Huh?
Just do it until it works.
Exactly. So yeah, that is my first pick. Second pick, Detroit -6.5. I think coming off a loss against the Bills, this will be a chance for them to kind of just get back on the wagon. I think a lot of people are going to be kind of like not so on them this week because of all the injuries. And they are playing a bad team in Chicago, so we'll see how that goes. And then last but not least, Miami -1.5. Um, I've not been a
I like
fan of the
that pick.
49ers. I always like Miami at home. And if you're going to give me that low of a spread with two like middle of the pack teams, I'm going to take Miami at home. Go ahead, sir.
Very good. All right. I'm gonna take the pick that Sal got right and inject that into my pick three. It's Arizona. I really like Arizona covering against the Panthers.
Excellent.
And we'll go patchwork and take from yours too.
Oh,
I really like Detroit against Chicago. I don't like to play Chicago's in at all. That I feel like that's honestly more of a factor in me picking this Detroit spread, rather than what you said about Detroit after coming off last week, which still completely valid, but even more so, I really don't like where Chicago is right now. I
they're
think it's
reeling.
yeah, I think the emotions are pretty low over there. And lastly, I ooh. Ooh, I'm stuck between the Bengals and the Steelers.
Ooh, your two staples.
Steelers didn't work last week, but they've been reliable, and I feel like the
You
Bengals have been starting to
did
work
get
here.
Bengals right last week, and you got
I
Pittsburgh wrong
know.
last week. So does that factor in?
I think I'm gonna go with the Bengals. Yeah,
All right.
Browns are fucking trash, dude.
Browns are trash.
Browns are trash. Touchdown score. What do we got here? What do we got in mind?
Um, I think I like Tyreek Hill this week. He should get in the end zone. I would take Trey McBride again, but it didn't work last week, and I'm not gonna chase the dragon. They did have that like play to him. They tried to do like what the Chiefs do on that like inside pitch to Travis Kelsey. They tried that with Trey McBride, and he got stopped at like the half-yard line, and I was like, damn, that would have been sick. I do like how Trey McBride's played though. He's been very good for me in fantasy.
I'll take. Hmm, I'll take Jamison Williams to score a touchdown for the Lions this weekend.
Okay.
Very odd.
Is he playing? He was hurt, right? Is he playing?
He is playing.
All right. I kind of like that.
He is playing.
That's not your normal like gross pick.
No, but that's just like a really weird
What
like
would have been
mid
your gross
pick.
pick? Your gross pick would have been like
I don't know. Adam
uh,
Thielen worked that one week.
yeah, that would have been a U pick. What's a U pick though? Trying to think. A U
Ah,
pick would be like Tucker Craft, something like that.
I mean, dude, I'm the original Tucker Craft guy.
Are you?
Yeah, dude, I drafted Laporta and I picked up Tucker Craft one week because I think Laporta maybe got hurt earlier in the year or something, but I ended up with Tucker Craft like early in the season and he was on my bench one game and he dropped like fucking 50 or something. So I put him in the next week, and he was top three tight end for fantasy up until like probably week 8 or 9.
Yeah,
So
he
yeah,
had that
I,
one week where he went off, and
I found
then
that boy, and he serviced me for a bit, and then fell off a little bit.
well, don't
But
say it
I
like
like I
that.
like Tucker Craft.
You say it
No,
like
I
that. That
I
sounds
did. Oh, he serviced.
he serviced.
There was there was a couple weeks where I almost went double tight end and did like Kraft
That happened
starting
to
tight
me
end.
against Andrew in fantasy on National Tight Ends Day, and he screwed me, man.
I should have that week too. I also had Taysom Hill on that team, and he ended up having some very good games.
Yeah, I had Taysom Hill, but then I had I think I had Cole Kmet and Trey McBride. So like when Trey McBride was out, I just put Cole Kmet in there, and he usually gets like between 5 and 10 points, which is usually good enough. But Trey McBride, he just gets so many receptions that it's insane.
Yeah, I feel like tight ends haven't been as like poverty-ish for fantasy football this year,
Yeah,
to where
I mean
there's
him and
normally
Brock
like,
Bowers have been just insane.
yeah, but
Brock Bowers is the new Kelsey.
normally it's like two guys and that's it, and then the rest of them are horrible. There's actually been some pretty like decent tight ends for fantasy this year that aren't the big name guys.
He was one that like when we were doing the draft for fantasy, I was like, dude, I really want Trey McBride, like, because I don't know, I did a lot of research going into like fantasy, and I guess it worked out, so I probably should just keep doing that. But I was like, I really want to do good this year because like I've just been so bad at fantasy since I won the league in 2018, and that was when it didn't matter. We didn't do it for money. We only had 8 people, so like it kind of like doesn't even. It's not even like real. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, damn, I really want to do fucking good. Like, I want to do good. So I really like hunkered down and really fucking was like, how can I get the best team?
Yeah,
And
I had a crap year. I can't wait for the draft in August.
and I got. Are you the Bears right now?
Literally did.
And I was able to get Trey McBride, and it's worked out. What really worked out was Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown saved
Yeah.
my
Oh
fantasy
yeah.
season because I lost Stephon Diggs and Rashee Rice. I think if they stayed healthy, my team would have been insane.
That's
But
insane.
and then I traded for DeAndre Hopkins, which has worked out. Jaden Reed hasn't been good, but hopefully these last 2 weeks he can get me at least like 11 to 15 points. Hopefully CeeDee Lamb can keep playing and getting 20 targets a game. And then hopefully Burrow and Chase Brown just keep doing crazy things. The only other guy is like Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker has not been good.
He
And
had a good start.
he had a great start, and
Fell
then he
off.
was hurt, and then he's been hurt the last 2 weeks, which didn't hurt me the week before. And then this week I was on bye, so like it's good that he got it out now. Like it was the perfect time for him to be out 2 weeks. So if he comes back, hopefully he'll be good. But yeah, I'm gonna play him, and it's gonna be a risk. But I think if because he was questionable coming into last week, so I feel like he's probably 100% or close
Yeah, I
to
don't
it.
know. If he's starting, I put him in there.
Yeah, 100%. I gotta stick with what got me here for sure. So I don't know. We'll see. Big matchup against Jake Barnes.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see. See how it goes. All right, dude.
We love you, Sal.
We love you, Sal. We miss you, Sal. You handsome man. He's lucky he's so fucking cute, bro. I'd rip him apart for not coming on.
He shall be resurrected in a week's time.
Yeah. All right.
Spread the word.
Well, over and out.